Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. As you can probably tell, it's not just myself, it's also Ushtered from Cricket Frost 2.0. And you can probably tell by the scoreboard that is on the screen. We're going to be talking about day two of England versus New Zealand. We're going to try and keep it short and sweet, probably a bit shorter and sweeter than yesterday's, but let's see. And I mean, New Zealand, they started off day one imperiously. I think we were just saying it was 2-4-6, I think, for three.
Yeah.
And they had Nichols and they also had Conway in, who my boy, as Ushered, will probably get really annoyed by me saying throughout the whole video. He actually scored 200 today, just saying, called it. But anyways, yeah, fantastic knock from him. But before we go on to the day's play, obviously, New Zealand were in control coming into day two. England, however, Ushered, I thought brought it back pretty well, considering. I mean, they got, yes, Nichols got to 50. But then after that, I mean, if we look at kind of the fall of wickets down here, you can see like they went from 288 for three all the way to 378 all out. So that to me is definitely a sign of England gaining back some control, but also I think the conditions played a bit of a part as well. I think the ball was doing a slightly bit more, but I think the biggest thing for me was England were bowling better lines and lengths as well, to be honest with you. And Ollie Robinson just carried on a bit of his form from yesterday and put the controversy from the Twitter tweets aside and kind of just carried on the same vein. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think one thing England did today that they didn't do yesterday was bowl short deliveries on the right places. So there's at least three wickets from today by the English bowlers that were shorter deliveries. And it wasn't Mark Wood himself, it was Ollie Robinson as well. I can't remember who the batsman was. Basically, getting people like Colin Grandhome, even Mitchell Santner, the people in the lower middle order, so to say, the all-rounders.
It was Jameson, I think. It was Jameson, wasn't it?
Yeah, because there was one delivery that he bowled on the exact same point, on the exact same place, and bounced about here. And then the next one bounced a lot higher, and it was around the same area. So I think Ollie Robinson was very, very impressive with the short ball, even though he's only bowling 80, 81 miles an hour. But Mark Wood, I was, again, impressed with. He's got pace. He's got, like, really good pace. Like, yesterday he was bowling 93 miles an hour as an average speed over the course of the entire day, which is something you don't see nowadays. Definitely something I haven't seen consistently in a very long time.
I think it was actually the quickest spell by an English bowler at Lord's recorded, I think, in terms of speed-wise. So that was really impressive. And I actually want to very briefly touch upon your point about the different bounce of the two deliveries, because actually that's a really good point that you've just made, because they showed a graphic of the kind of change from day one to day two. And in day one, the ball was staying a bit lower, and also the trajectory, the carry wasn't quite as much there. So the ball was dying a bit more than today. But today, they showed the difference. I think it was ball tracking, isn't it? Which they show. And the bounce was substantially more, but also the carry was more as well and faster. So I thought that was definitely a difference. But we also saw, as you just said, a difference, kind of maybe a bit of two-paced patches on the track as well as the day wore on, which was interesting. On Wood, I mean, yeah, he was really good. I think he picked up a couple of wickets really quickly. Nichols and then Watling. I mean, the ball to Watling was a beauty. It really was. I mean, it just angled in and just kind of then just straightened, and Watling tried to work it to the leg side and could only nick it behind. So that was a really good delivery. Jameson, we knew he was going to go and pull, so Robinson got him. He kind of telegraphed it. I was a bit disappointed by Jameson getting out like that, but is what it is. And then Santner he has issues on the back foot anyway, and has done with a short ball. So I think obviously Mark Wood just took advantage of that, and bowling at 95 miles an hour, you don't really have too much time. And considering you're struggling against short balls, probably not the best person to face when he's that skiddy. So he struggled, and then eventually he just set him up with a fuller delivery after a couple of short ones and just poked it straight to the man. But for me, before we go on to the England innings, we have to discuss, of course, the Conway and also Wagner partnership, because I mean, looking at the scorecard, you might say it's only 40 runs. Why are you going to discuss that so much? But I thought that was, first of all, very important. It was an 11th wicket partnership, obviously. So, sorry, 10th wicket partnership even, which is really important. And on top of that, I mean, Conway got 200. Unbelievable, not. But Wagner looks so good as well for a number 11. He looks so good. So yeah, what do you think of? First of all, Wagner, I guess very briefly. What do you think? I mean, he didn't look like a number 11. Some quality shots. 1-6 over mid-off, wasn't it? As well.
The thing with Neil Wagner is, you assume if someone bats at 11, they're going to be a terrible batsman, right? You think of players like Glenn McGrath. You think of I know James Anderson has a 50 and all that, but you think of people who aren't very good at batting. But Neil Wagner is also batted at number 9 for New Zealand sometimes. He's batted at number 10. He's batted at number 11. So it's just this combination at the moment. And what he showed today was exactly what you see from him. He's going to give you runs very quickly at random moments. All right. One thing I want to stress about, you said those 40 runs. Otherwise, if that 40-run partnership didn't happen, they'd be 50 for 7 effectively today, right? Devin Conway would have been 117 not out and be like, oh, I can't get my 200. New Zealand are in a bad position and all that stuff, right? So what Neil Wagner gave Conway was that confidence to say, dude, I'm here, but I'm just going to play my way. You need to stay in or hang in there. And yes, Devin Conway's innings was fantastic. I thought Wagner's time at the crease was crucial for New Zealand to get past the 350 mark, 100%. After they got past that mark, then your boy, yes, Fazan, your boy, even though I'm a huge fan, but nope, he's your boy, Fazan, right? Devin Conway did something that I think 7 or not many people have done. Not many people, especially from New Zealand, not that many people have done. He's the second highest scorer on debut for New Zealand. The highest is 217, and he made 200 on his debut. This is outstanding. The way he played, even yesterday, you mentioned it, he looked good. He struggled a little bit, even with the short ball, because Mark Wood was bowling really quick, but he had adjusted very well. He started to smash him around the park. And then today, I thought he looked a lot more composed with the conditions being more difficult. He decided to not be as aggressive. He decided to actually hang in there. That showed both gears of the way he can play. So yeah, Devin Conway was outstanding. Unfortunate the way he got out trying to change a single into a double, but he had to do that. And to be honest, as soon as they went past 350, I was like, okay, they're probably going to wait till 200 and then take as many risks as possible. And unfortunately, it was the next ball or something, or the ball after that, they actually got run out. So yeah, very impressed with the way Conway showed his class today.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's actually the highest score by an overseas player at Lords ever.
Okay.
I think he overtook Ganguly as the highest ever overseas debutant. I think it was 131 Ganguly hit. But in terms of actually just any overseas players, I think it's the highest score. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I am. But from what I heard, that's the highest score ever.
Yeah, I think Lords. It's the highest score on debut in England. I think that's what it is.
Or maybe it's that. Yeah, it could be that. Could be that as well. But either way, super impressive, as you said. Landmarks galore. And yeah, he's a class act. He really is. So really happy to see him one in the side, because I thought they may stick with Blundell, but I think they'll probably stick Blundell in when BJ Watling goes in middle order, because he's a very good glovesman as well. Conway, though, unbelievable. And to also get 200 with a 6. I know it was a slight top edge. Who cares? Still got 6 off it. Yeah. And looked really, really good. So yeah, hopefully many more to come from him. England, then, we'll very briefly touch upon them. Obviously not the start they would have wanted. Down for 18 for 2. Jameson took the new ball. I thought he was searching for wickets a little bit. Probably more than someone like Bolt or Southey do. And normally he is relatively patient, but I thought maybe it was the excitement of having the new ball, which really just got to him. But yeah, very briefly then, do you want to touch upon maybe the phases of the game? So I guess let's start with New Zealand first off, and England's, I guess, inability to maybe, in defence really, not solid at all.
Yeah, so one point I want to stress on is the conditions today compared to the conditions yesterday were vastly different, especially when New Zealand came onto ball. Tim Southey was swinging the ball probably more than Anderson was yesterday. Kyle Jameson was swinging the ball as well. And then later on, Colin de Grandhomme was bowling really well as well. And his stats show it. But the way he swung the ball, the way he got a lot of the batsmen kind of not set up, he didn't take any wickets, but he got them restrictive, got them to defend a lot more than attack. Now, the inability of players like Dom Sibley and Zach Crawley to defend certain deliveries kind of got to them. You know, when I think of Zach Crawley, I think of the 267 that he scored against Pakistan. But since then, I haven't seen much from him. And what I've seen is he's always the type of player who wants to keep going, who wants to make more runs rather than try and stick it out at the crease. Rory Burns showed that he can stick it out in the crease. I know you said talk in phases, but it's hard to, considering the fact that England looked
out of
it, 18 for 2, right? Sibley gone, what's his name? Crawley gone, and I'm thinking Rory Burns needs to do what he's been doing in domestic cricket over the past season, this season 2021 County Championship, and he scored another 50. This is his 7th 50+ score, I think, in the last 9 first-class appearances, which is something that last year, if you asked me who was going to be the failure of the opening partnership, I would have said Rory Burns altogether, not Dom Sibley, right? Yes, Sibley's coming out from injury, so I could forgive him a little bit, but Zach Crawley doesn't feel as fluent as he did, let's say 6-7 months ago now. In terms of the way New Zealand bowled at the beginning, they bowled very well, and then slowly, I agree with you. Kyle Jamieson wanted to be more aggressive, and that's where when Wagner came in, Wagner was being more aggressive, and runs started to flow. Wagner bowls that way. He's going to bowl bounces. He's going to do all that good stuff. But when the bounces don't get correctly bowled, for lack of a better term, when they're not directed properly, that's where it's a disadvantage to the bowling side rather than an advantage that Wagner actually gives them. Now, Mitchell Santner, his inclusion in the side, I think it makes sense considering, this match does seem like it's going to go at least till day 4, day 5. So Mitchell Santner is not going to be that effective right now, and he wasn't. But eventually, over the course of the next couple of days, he will be a lot more effective from the New Zealand standpoint. So I've been impressed with the way Rory Burns has batted. Joe Root, I expect nothing less. So I'm not even going to talk about Joe Root. But yeah, I think Rory Burns was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. Fun fact, I actually played a game against, was supposed to play a game against Rory Burns' old side, Banstead, and his dad was there, actually. I should have asked him to see if I could get an interview with his son, but missed the opportunity. He's a chairman there. Anyways, Burns, I thought was really good, gritted it out in true Rory Burns fashion and got to 50+, which is good. And I think him and Root, that's going to be a vital partnership. Obviously, a rebuild. They've done really well, nearly 100-run partnership there. So that's what England will be looking towards. I think New Zealand is pretty obvious. They need an early wicket, or will want an early wicket, because I thought at 18 for 2, I thought this could be curtains pretty quickly. But I thought maybe a slight lack of discipline from some of the bowlers like Wagner and Jamieson. A bit of control as well, issue with Santner. Let's see. I think as you said, as the game wears on, Santner will have more effect. Southey was really good. I thought Durandon really good as well. Jamieson, I expect a bit more from him just because he's been so good since the start of his Test career. But it's a new ball to bowl with as well. So new conditions anyway. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much, Usher. I don't want to keep you too long, and I really appreciate you coming on. And I'm really looking forward to day 3. Guys, please do remember to, of course, go over to Usher's channel, Cricket for Us 2.0, check it out, and of course, make sure you subscribe to this video, well, to this channel even, like this video. It really does help the channel to grow. And of course, go over to Usher's channel and do the same thing, and click the notification bell as well to get alerts to all new videos. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. And thank you very much.